Hickok 45 here. Welcome to the Hickok 45 Talks channel. Glad you came by this channel. Yes, where I just talk. Yeah, not a lot, not a lot of brilliant comments, but at least some comments. Okay, some things I might want to say, some things you might want to hear, or you might not want to hear. So that's the reason I have this channel particularly set. Well, actually, all three of our channels, we have them set so it's not mandatory viewing, but we're glad when you do. So what about this Second Amendment stupidity and ignorance? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Don't you get weary of seeing people say things, I mean, occasionally about, well, kids are dying so you can enjoy your guns, you know, and things like that. 20,000 people, of course, make up the number, thousands of people when, the vast majority are gangs on gangs and the suicides, but whatever the number they throw out, all these people are dying just so you can enjoy your hobby, that kind of thing. And quote other countries and all that kind of thing. Well, I, I really think that a lot of people, obviously you got a vast percentage of people who are anti-gun that just they just hate guns, and they don't like people who have guns, other people having the power or whatever it might be. They don't know anything about guns, and they don't want to have to learn and all this thing, and there's all kinds of reasons we could psychoanalyze people. But I really think a lot of them too, they literally don't understand what the Second Amendment's for, and they don't understand the rationale that the founding fathers had for that. They just go into deer hunting and all these stupid things. You don't need an Uzi. How many times has someone posted something like that in the old print newspaper, letters to editors, or online somewhere in recent decades? Who needs an Uzi to hunt deer, or an AR-15 to hunt deer, and dumb things like that? They either are pretending not to understand the Second Amendment purpose, or they really don't. And some of them don't. It's just not a part of their consciousness, because we're in this modern world. Crazy things don't happen. Dictators don't take over, and people are not abused. That's way back, World War II or something. You're talking Germany or whatever. That kind of thing doesn't happen. Well, look around and study history. It's happened all through history. If you're unarmed, you're basically subjects. You're not citizens. And our founders knew that. And it's not about hunting, of course. It's not about sports shooting. Those are just things we do with firearms that are fun, enjoyable, or have always helped people survive, those sorts of things. It's a deterrent. They are a deterrent. When a citizenry is armed, it's a deterrent to any power-hungry government entity, dictator, whatever. And they know it. They know it. That's the thing. You can measure accidental shootings, intentional shootings. Those are very, very dramatic, and they happen. But guns have been around by the millions for many, many, many decades in this country. So what has changed is not the number of guns around, it's people, or some people. And of course we could talk about that, what all is involved in that, drugs, diet, whatever, numbers of people, I don't know. But you can measure that when something actually happens. What you can't measure are things that don't happen. That's always a concept that's, I don't know, had in my mind over the decades I've been alive. On almost any topic, you can't measure things that just don't happen because of something you do. If say you're a safe driver and you, I don't know, you always take extra precautions at every intersection. You don't speed up to the intersection. You don't try to be the first to take off or whatever it is. You have really safe driving habits. Well, we can't measure how many accidents you have prevented by driving that way. We can't measure how many times your life was saved. Could be like 2 times in the last 10 years. The only reason you're still alive, or I am still alive, is because of just the way I drive. But we don't know for sure. You know, those kinds of things are rather random. Okay, how do we measure what other countries might have taken more aggressive action against the United States over the, well, not just the last few decades, but I don't know, since for 150 years? How do we measure that? It's quite possible, and we know the famous quotation from the Japanese emperor, whatever, there's a gun behind every blade of grass in America. We can never overtake them, or however that one goes. You know, but it's not just something someone says, it's the thought process. How many other countries in what period in history has there been a group of men, probably, right, around a table trying to decide how to handle the United States, or what we could do about the United States or America? Is it conquerable? Is it worth trying? How would we go about it? Would it be doable? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. And what conclusions did they come to? We don't know. We do know that it's a highly, heavily armed society here, though, don't we? And who knows? We can't measure it again. What aggression has been prevented because of that? Within our own country, one of the primary reasons for the Second Amendment is to, be a force against a tyrannical government, right? Internally or externally. How many politicians have had thoughts about, in this country, over the decades, century, whatever, of being way more aggressive with more absolute power in certain areas, even though our system of government makes that more difficult, right? But how many times has that crossed somebody's mind who was in power? A president, senators, whoever, money, powerful people because of money. I'm talking extreme wealth. How many have rethought something? Some thought might have entered their mind about some control over the population, but then had a second thought. They're all armed. We don't know. We don't know. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Never have been. Although that's changing, really. So if you think that politicians are not power hungry, there's something in human nature. I mean, I don't feel like I have it. I've been in management. I've been in positions where I've had authority over other adults and kids and if anything, I go the other way, I think. I don't have that gene, that need to have power over people, I don't think, But a lot of people do have it. And, it's there. And if they get in some position of power, and maybe there's a group of them, bad things can happen. Can you spell pandemic? Yeah, remember that? Remember that? Just think about all of that power that was exercised needlessly. And so many politicians not only exercised power, they seemed to really enjoy it. While they were not even living by it, by the way, right? And so many times they were caught. It's so much like Animal Farm. Some people are more equal than others, right? Some animals are more equal than others. It's just an aspect of human nature. I don't think I was given it, I hope, but it's a part of human nature, the quest for power, control over other people. And the Second Amendment is a force, a tool against that, even when it's not used. Right? That's the thing. That's the thing. The fact that it exists, the fact that you've got AR-15s and ammunition, and many others do, means we'll probably never have to use them in that context, right? So a lot of people don't think about that because I think they feel, and I have too in the past, not so much anymore, but I used to feel like I didn't want to say too much about that. You feel like a conspiracy theorist, you know. And so just look at government, you know, look at politicians the last several years, and at the people who really, really want control. They want total control over everything, it seems, and just to grow bigger and bigger and bigger government. And they're the very same people that, you know, do not respect the Second Amendment at all, of course, and would like to take all of our firearms away. Yeah, I wonder why. Imagine that. So just something to think about. Second Amendment is nothing about hunting, and most of you watching know that. I guess part of the reason I'm talking about this is anything you can do in talking with young people and other folks is just remind them about what the Second Amendment, I can't talk today, what the Second Amendment is about. And I don't know, I think more people are not going to consider you a radical these days, right? So you got millions and millions and millions, over 100 million, you know, citizens in this country with firearms. If that's not a deterrent to any of those things I've talked about, I don't know what is. And you know, 99.9% of those people are like you and me. We are law-abiding, and we're not looking for trouble at all. We just want to be left alone and be about our own business, and you know, be constructive, you know, and do good, right? So that's about all I've got to say about the Second Amendment. And if you got any thoughts on that, share them. And in terms of how to get people to understand that, without coming off as a wacko, because you and I don't look at each other as a wacko when we talk about the Second Amendment, but some people who are not into firearms at all and may wonder about why you have so many or something like that, yeah, they do need to be handled gently and with education, and you know, not with anger. Right? It's easy to get angry with people that want to restrict our rights, you know, or take away our firearms and that kind of thing, and neuter the Second Amendment. There's a lot of people out there like that, and there always will be. But then there's other people, kind of the independents, whoever they are, right? Or the people who they don't have a really strong opinion one way or the other. They're not sure what they think about it. So it's our job to kind of educate them and win their hearts and minds to an extent, rather than push them away by acting too crazy, right? So anyway, that's just I think some ignorance about the Second Amendment that we need to work pretty hard at stamping out, really. So glad you all came by to hear me ramble, because I am done now. Life is good.